Is right now a great time to buy a gaming laptop, or should you wait? Now, as many of you know, AMD, Intel, and Nvidia tend to release their new technology on a very iterative and reliable cycle that tends to follow the Black Friday and holiday sales. But it's a very interesting conundrum of whether you should buy when the sales are going on, or if you should save your money for later on when the new technology comes out. So today I'm going to try to break down my predictions on whether it's worth saving your money for all the new technology that Nvidia, Intel, and AMD are going to release, or if you should just try to take advantage of the Black Friday sales that we're going to have coming up over the next few weeks. Which leads directly into our sponsor for today's episode. A big shout out and thank you to Best Buy for sponsoring this episode. And I think Best Buy is actually one of the very best places to buy a gaming laptop during these holiday sales because they have a very generous return policy all the way until January 16th. So if you decide that that laptop is not for you, if AMD, Intel, or Nvidia announce some major new technology between now and then, you'll have an opportunity to take advantage of that new technology if you want to. Now, I want to make it clear that I'm allowed to give you my honest opinion. I can talk about all the pros and cons of all the products that Best Buy sells. So these opinions are my own. Now, as you can see, Best Buy has tons of laptops available on their website, and tons of these are on sale, and many of them are very good deals. Please keep in mind that not all of them are insanely good deals. So be mindful of that and don't just click these and buy them instantly. I highly recommend at least checking my sheet and maybe checking out some reviews before you make your purchase. As you can see, the first one up is the Asus TUF Gaming. This is a 17-inch laptop, 144 hertz display, RTX 3050 Ti, only 8 gigs of RAM. That's kind of a bummer. No mux switch here, but it is only $799, and it's one of the most attractive laptops under the $800 price point so far. I do think we may see even better deals coming up, but if you're a casual gamer and you're in the market for a 17-inch laptop, this is certainly a promising choice. Next up, we have the Aorus 15P with an RTX 3060. It has an i7 11800H, very high-powered machine, only $1199 right now, $400 off. There's also an RTX 3080 version of this machine that's currently on sale as well. So this one, I really love the build quality. I love this laptop as a whole, and yet it's such a great price. Next, we have the Zephyrus G14. This thing is one of the best 14-inch gaming laptops, and this is arguably the most portable, most powerful laptop that you can get. That is a great all-arounder, great CPU, great performance. It can run fairly warm, like the chassis can get fairly warm, but you have great battery life. I really like this laptop, really enjoyed using it. Great keyboard, great touchpad. The display has a little bit of ghosting, but if you're a casual gamer and you just want something really portable and yet very powerful that'll last you a long time, this is one that I can highly recommend, especially when it's on sale. Now, if you're too lazy to check BestBuy.com every day, you can check my gaming laptop comparison sheet, which I'll also have linked in the description down below. And I'll be featuring all of Best Buy's best deals at the top of the list. So without further ado, let's get back to the topic at hand. Now, as many of you already know, there are two really great times to buy a gaming laptop. First of all, right after new technology comes out, I'm willing to pay the full price for it because it's going to be the best that you can get for an extended period of time. You're buying it at the beginning of the cycle of release. And then shortly thereafter, usually starting about 3 to 6 months after that initial release, you start to have sales popping up. So right now in November and December 2021, we're looking to only buy RTX 3000 cards and Intel 11th gen and Ryzen 5000 CPUs if we can get them on sale. Because paying full price right now is for suckers who don't know better. I don't want to say that. Do I want to say that? But it's true. It's so true. You don't want to pay full price right now. Like if you're paying full price, you're just, it's not, yeah, you want to wait. You want to wait either till it's on sale or until the next generation comes around. That's the two options in my opinion. Otherwise, you're making a mistake. Now, of course, there's always some exceptions, I suppose, like the really, really high demand laptops that are constantly being sold out. I don't know. But even the Lenovo Legion lineup had a sale. So, I mean, I don't know. It would be really hard for me to pay full price right now. Most likely, I do believe we will be getting announcements for RTX 3060, 3070, and 3080 super cards. So what's the timeline most likely going to look like? So this year is kind of unique in that we have had a silicon shortage due to the pandemic going on. So it's kind of hard to predict exactly what NVIDIA is going to do. They could delay the release of the super cards. They could just hold off entirely on doing the super version of the cards, and they could go straight to the RTX 4000 series another, say, a year or 14 months from right now. It's possible that they just don't do it at all, but I think most likely here at CES we'll see RTX 3070 and 3080 super cards being announced, with probable release dates being February to March. But here's the thing, it'll probably be very tight availability during that time period right at launch. So if you do want to get a 3070 or 3080 super, you're going to pay a premium price over what you would say buy at the Black Friday sales here. So on a price to performance basis, I think your price to performance basis will still be better buying a laptop that has a really great sale now. I believe it's very likely that the RTX 3060, 3070, and 3080 super versions are not going to be a massive leap in performance. Certainly not 20%. I don't think. It could totally be wrong. Most likely it'll be more like 7 to 10% performance improvement overall. If you're okay with waiting another 12 to 14 months, it's very likely that we'll get RTX 4000 cards probably at CES 2023, which will be January 2023. So basically 14 months from now we'll have the announcement, and then 16 months from now they'll probably be available, at least if NVIDIA follows their traditional cycle. So that kind of answers the question regarding the GPU's future in the short term. But what about Intel and AMD processors coming up? Well, first of all, for AMD, we don't really have much info at all about them, quite frankly. They could surprise us at CES, but I wouldn't be surprised if we have a delayed launch until later in 2022. Really hard to predict there. But for Intel, we do have several leaks indicating that we're going to get 6 high-performance cores and 8 efficiency cores in laptop CPUs coming up. That means a total of 20 threads, up from 16. In theory, this should allow us to have more efficient battery life in the laptops when you're not doing very intensive things. And then it should also allow for a nice bump in performance for both gaming as well as multi-threaded performance. Probably looking at least a 15 to 30% bump in performance. I'm going to guess, throwing out here, a 20 to 25% performance bump for many gaming laptops out there with the new Intel CPUs. So if anything, I think the Intel CPUs might be the bigger reason to not buy right now, but it's not like the CPUs we have right now are bad. And I think the biggest question whenever you go to buy a gaming laptop is, will that gaming laptop make you happy in the long term? Right? Like, are you going to be happy with it 2 years from now, 4 years from now? I think you need to be confident that you'll be happy with it for at least 2 years. But ideally, many of us want to keep a laptop for at least 5. The simple fact is, until we have the new hardware in hand, it's really hard to precisely predict the level of performance it's going to have. Now, I also want to mention that it is entirely possible to get a great deal on a gaming laptop throughout the whole year. There are sales going on periodically, especially like back to school sales or some kind of summer sale or a spring sale. There's usually a short period of time each month where most manufacturers or stores list some laptops with a very nice sale. But they're a lot more rare. And during this holiday season leading through Black Friday up to Christmas, there are going to be a ton of sales from a ton of retailers, and everyone's trying to move any stock that they still have because they know the new technology is going to come out in January through April. So that means that they really want to sell the stock, and depending on the level of stock after the holidays, we may see some more sales on the older gen technology as the newer gen technology comes out. But in this last year, because of the silicon shortage, it was really interesting to see that all of the new laptops were basically sold out, and the older generation RTX 2000 laptops really didn't see much of a price dip, which was kind of disappointing in my opinion, but that's the reality we face when the stock is so limited due to the crypto mining boom and the silicon shortage that we have going on right now. So really, I guess my main caution regarding buying the sales right now is make sure the return policy extends into like the second week of January at least. So hopefully we can see what CES brings to the table. These holiday sales coming up are probably the best way to get the best bang for the buck overall, in my opinion. Now, I've included a link in the description down below to my gaming laptop comparison sheet, which you can use to compare my estimated value of a laptop versus the sale price. So basically, I've tried to evaluate all of the laptops on the market and assign my rough estimated value to that machine based on competing laptops on the market. Now, as announcements come in for CES, I'll be adjusting these numbers around and probably lowering the value on the RTX 3000 laptops. For now, they're basically consistent with the prices we've seen for most of 2021. And on top of that, it's very easy to shop around on that list. You can see which laptops have a MUX, which ones has a NVIDIA Optimus, a rough evaluation of the battery life. You also have the TimeSpy and Cinebench benchmarks for you to compare between tons of different laptops on the market. And I'm really excited to work with Steven from Owner Disown because he's going to help me manage the spreadsheet. Now, some of the links on the sheet are affiliated, which means that if you do buy a laptop off the list, it does help support me as a creator as well as Steven from Owner Disown. My goal with the list is simply to make it as helpful as possible for you to find a laptop that you will love in the long run. The way I see it is if I'm as helpful to you as possible, then that helps me in the long run because you'll be motivated to come back and check out more of my content. So I think that's everything. Thanks so much for watching. Be sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell if you want to see more of my videos. And if you enjoyed this one, hit the like button. I'll see you in the next one. Brandon out. Huzzah.